Hi guys, it's Dakota. I hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to the Hallowed Cauldron. Sorry I've been gone for an extra week. It's just been super crazy, busy at work, and I work on ordering for the store on the weekends where I'm home alone is nice and quiet, so I can concentrate. Um, and also, we'll be having a Samhain ritual coming up on this coming Sunday. So I got that all written out and got it ready to go. And just cleaning and doing all the things before next weekend because I have to work this weekend. So I want the house to be all nice, shiny, and pretty for everyone when they come over. So, yeah, so that's happening. And I wanted to share with you today, excuse me, um, kind of, I want to say, I don't like, I don't believe in coincidences, right? I'm a synchronicity kind of person, and I really kind of think this was the thing. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to talk about today. As always, I don't like to have a whole lot of stuff planned. And with Samhain coming up and me being busy, to be quite honest with you, I really haven't had a lot of time to put anything really, concrete together for you. So I decided to come upstairs this afternoon, and I was going to just kind of sit for a moment, have some tea, and just maybe do like, a little meditation or maybe some journey work because Samhain is coming this weekend, and it's all about connecting with our ancestors, which I do. That's part of my work. But Samhain always seems to be a little bit different for me in communing with the ancestors. So I kind of wanted to just come upstairs and just have some time, some quiet time. So I sat down and I was just kind of trying to get comfortable and just sort of honestly, I'm sitting there before I go into this journey. I'm sitting there looking at this complete and utter mess that I have made out of this room. As you know, this is my devotional room. This is my temple. This is my sacred place. I have my witch cottage, which is where I normally like to do my videos, but it's a little misty out there today. It's not cold, but it's wet, so I didn't want to go out there today. And then I also have the little, other cottage that I use for making products and stuff like that. So of course, I didn't want to go over there because that's even further. Um, and so I just came up here and but I'm just, as soon as I get up here, it's just literally overwhelming. I have a really hard time making this distraction go away so that I can literally get into meditation or journey or whatever it is I'm doing. I have a question for you. How do you, if you have witchy stuff that you don't use anymore, that there's no way you would ever, I mean, you just don't use it anymore. There's no use for it. It could be items, it could be books, cards, whatever. What do you do with it? Um, I know about regifting, but then you want to make sure that it's the right person that you're gifting it to. I just don't know how every time I start to go through my stuff and I'll be like, oh yeah, this, I will never use this. I don't even, that's not even my style anymore. But so and so gave that to me. I mean, but that was years ago. And that's not my style anymore. I don't want it. I don't need it. It's just sitting there doing nothing. So what do you do with it at that point? And that's a question for you. Leave me a comment. Let me know. I don't know how to clean up this mess. I don't. I don't know what to do with all this stuff. I mean, I know that I could just put everything in boxes that I don't use. And then what? Put them in the storage for what? That just takes up space, you know? So, and I'll never use it again. I know I won't. Except for like right now, when you try to go through it and you look at it. That's it. And then every time I do that, I'm like, I'll never use this. This isn't even me anymore. I don't use that anymore. I don't use that style. I'm not there anymore. But I can't let it go. Anyway, I need help. I got issues. So while I was sitting there looking at this hoard, um, I glanced over and I have a stack, well, several, but I have a stack over there of tarot cards and oracle cards that I don't use. I will never use them. I guess maybe never say never, but then, then it sits there for how long? Anyway, cards, stacks of cards. Some are oracle, some are tarot, some are just, I don't know, like affirmation type cards and stuff. And so I'm looking over there and I go, oh my gosh. And I start to chuckle. I start laughing. And one of the reasons I started to laugh, I'm going to share this with you, and it's kind of hard. I've already tried um, to do this. Okay, so one of the reasons I was laughing in my store, well, years ago, I used to have an antique store. So, and I promised to get on topic here real quick. Let me just get this out of the way because this is part of the story. So in my store, we have a back room. We have our stock room. And but you can see, I mean, the doors, you can see the doors right there, in my shop. And right on the other side of the door against the other wall, there is this 6-foot cardboard cutout. And it's from a movie. Years ago, when we used to be in the antique business, we went to an auction, and when I walked in, I saw these 2 cardboard cutouts that were in a movie theater to promote the movie. You know how they always have the big signs and stuff like that? And so I said to my husband, poor dear, I said, I'm getting those, because I wanted them for the store. Uh, yeah, my antique store. So, and so I got them. Okay, so I got them. Well, when we built our new store and moved into that, well, it's not a new store anymore. It's 9 years old now. But when we moved into there and got out of the antiques and did the metaphysical store, I brought these figures with me. And this one particular one that I'm going to show you is used to be out on my floor because I didn't have all the merchandise that I have now. I didn't have, my store was not full. It was a bigger store than the antique store. Well, my metaphysical section actually was only in a 6x8 area at my antique store. Now I have a, 2,000 square foot metaphysical store. And so that took a lot more merchandise. So back then I didn't have all the merchandise, and I had room to put this 6-foot cardboard cutout out on the floor. Now, of course, he has to be in the back because we are full. Yay. So, anyway, all right. So I'm sitting over there getting ready to meditate. I'm just kind of looking over, and I'm looking at the cards, and I start to kind of like chuckle. And one of the reasons I chuckled is because when my customers come in and they see that cutout, they always go, oh, is that? And I'm like, yeah, that is. And who is that, you wonder? All right, I'm going to show you. That is, and there's a big glare, so I'm going to have to move this around until I get the glare off. So bear with me, bear with me. Hang on. There he is. It's Elrond from Lord of the Rings. I have him and I have Galadriel. And he is right there when you walk in. I mean, you can see him from the floor. in the store. And Gladriel is on the other end of that room, and she's like on the other end, and you can't see her unless you go outside into our parking lot and look, through the window, and then you could probably see her. So, why did that make me giggle when I was looking at the cards? Because I look over and I see my Lord of the Rings tarot deck. How funny is that, right? Lord of the Rings, my tarot deck. Now, this is from 1997. Where I got this, I have no idea. I didn't buy it. I think that, a lot of people gift me things, give me things. Speaking of, um, here's one of them. Like, what do I do with it? I have never, ever used this deck. I've looked at it once or twice. It's not my thing. I did see Lord of the Rings. My favorite was The Hobbit, and I think I watched the very next one, but I don't know if I got into that one or I didn't watch. I haven't watched the whole thing. I haven't. I loved The Hobbit to the point that, I'll tell you here in a second. Anyway, so this is from 1997. I think somebody gave me this. I couldn't tell you when, because I would not have bought that. I'm a Lord of the Rings fan. I mean, obviously, I know Elrond, so and enough, and I like him enough that he's in my store. But not enough. And I know Gandalf. You know, I know Gollum. I know all the whole story. But for whatever reason, I just was never really. I don't know. I just I don't know why. Hmm, maybe I should watch it again. Anyway, now I have this deck, and I know I didn't buy the deck. I think somebody gave it to me. So, I don't want to. I'm not going to sell it. Um, I mean, I might re-gift it to somebody if I knew that somebody was going to get use out of it. Um, but anyway, here's this deck. So when I saw this, it made me chuckle because I started thinking about Elrond and how people, every time they come in the store, they, oh, is that Elrond? I'm like, yeah, that's Elrond. He's our guardian. So anyway, this is the back. And so I thought, you know what? There's something else that goes with this story, and I'm going to lead up to that. But I'm going to show you these cards real quick. And they are tarot cards. It's a regular, you know, 78 cards. Come out. And it does come with the little pamphlet that comes with most small decks like that. And it's got, the inside has a rundown. It has like a sentence or two about each of the cards. And I mean, like, just a couple of sentences. That's it. And then in the back, it has a spread. It shows you some of the like here's a Celtic cross, so it shows you some of the layouts and what they mean and stuff. But what was really interesting is in the back, this is also, there's a way to play a game with this. And the cards have these symbols and things on them. This tells you about the different symbols and stuff and what they mean, and so you can actually play a game with it. Now that part I might like. I've never really looked into that, so I haven't got that far yet. Okay, so I thought, let me just show you a couple of the cards. I'm not going to show you, the whole deck or anything, but some of you have seen my cat, and my cat, as you know, Gollum, before before Gollum became Gollum, he was Smeagol, and that is my cat's name. His name is Smeagol. And the reason he's Smeagol is because I was going to name him Gollum, but I didn't want to name him Gollum. And, but he was feral when I found him, and I took him to the vet immediately. He weighed 1 pound and I don't know, like a couple ounces, something like that. But he had these big, giant, bulging blue eyes. And so I told the vet, I said, "Do you think he'll ever be able to see?" And she's, "What do you mean?" And I go, "Well, his eyes prematurely opened and they're like he strained them to open." And she started laughing and she said, "Dakota, he's 6, 7 weeks old. Those are his regular eyes. Those are his eyes." But he was so, I mean, she's really, if we hadn't have found him when we did, he probably would have had maybe one more day left. He was bad, bad off. So, because he had these enormous eyes, I was like, "Oh God, he's ugly." And then my camera, I can't show you because it's too glary. But he grew and grew and grew and grew and grew quick. Like from that time, I mean, at 6 months old, he was huge. That's how depleted he was from everything, nutrition and just everything. And so a few years ago, he was 23 pounds. 23 pounds. And so then we had to put him on we had to cut back his food. She said he was way too big, and that wasn't healthy. And so we did, and he's much better now. He's still huge. He still weighs 20 pounds, but he's I think he weighs like 18, 19 pounds. But he's much more active, put it that way. And he's a house cat. So, all right. So anyway, I don't have these in order. I'm just going to show you a few because I want to go on about the synchronicity of all of this. But I did pull this card. This is the Fool, and it's Gollum. I had to pull that card. And you see that shield at the top right there? Right here? So that means something in the game. I don't know. I have not looked how to read the game yet, or how to play the game. So there's Gollum at the pond. See, he's got a fish in his hand, and here's the death card. See the symbols? There's a shield, a zodiac sign. There's some symbols at the bottom. This is the death card, and it talks about Gandalf. I'll just show you. Here's the tower. I kind of love this. There's the tower. And let's see, I'll just show you one more. What's this one? This is interesting. This is a Two of Swords. Okay. So, anyway, if anybody knows anything about this deck, the Lord of the Rings deck, how to play the game, or anything that you might think I would like to hear or like to know, leave me a comment below. I'm interested, and I might look into that game thing and see how that is. I'm not a big gamer, but if it's something fun that you can play, that would be fun. All right. So on the synchronicity. All right. So this is how things lead for me. This is how things happen. Sitting in the chair, I see the card, reminds me of Elrond. There's the cards. Okay. I have well, 2020, with COVID and everything, we had a class. We finished that class that year. It was hectic. The store was hectic. Everything was bleh. last year I took sabbatical from all classes. I didn't teach one single class, nor did I really get into my tarot sessions with anybody because I needed self-care. I needed to just let go of all the BS that went on that year, 2020. Um, so, uh, so I didn't have any classes, and it was great. It was great not having those classes. I needed that break, but I was bored, and I was getting into my cards a little bit more because they were keeping me company. And I was writing down I have a book that I do keep tarot notes in and stuff. And I was writing in my book, and I thought, what's really interesting is I've taken several courses over the years, tarot courses. I've read several books. I've taken just several classes online and, weekend things and whatever. There was two courses that I took years ago at different times. And one was, I think I have a video on that as well. I don't remember the name. You can find it if you look at my videos. But it was a correspondence course. It was almost a year long, and she was across the pond. She has since passed away, which was really sad. There is a group, a private study group, and it is still active. The admins, she had admins, a couple of admins that were running it because she was busy, and she's an older woman doing her thing, and she just didn't want to be involved with the group, I guess. I don't know. So the group is still active, and I'm still part of the group, but I don't really get on there too much anymore. Uh, but her way of thinking about the cards, she didn't teach tarot. Oh, this is the Fool card. It's the number 0. This is what he's about. Blah, 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 blah. She has this very unique alternative way of looking at the cards. Now, and this was Rider Waite, and that's what I study, and so that's what I read. I read Rider Waite cards, not necessarily that little deck, but the Rider Waite style of cards. So then I took another class, and it was, study at your own will or your own timeline, and he had some live things, but I didn't care for him at all, but he is a phenomenal tarot reader. I loved his style, and I loved his out of the box thinking. So that started, I had already started incorporating her style, or which became my style. And then I took his, and I was like, oh, that's really fantastic. I love that. And I started doing that and threw those in the cauldron. And then I thought, well, what's missing here is me. I have hers and his in the cauldron, but I don't just use hers and his. I use hers, his, and mine. And so then it becomes my own style. And let me tell you that I'm a firm believer in reading tarot books. Most people, not most, there are several tarot readers that I know personally that will tell you just throw the book away, don't even read the book that comes with the cards. Everything has to come from your intuition. Everything is psychic. Everything is this. No, that isn't true. Or maybe that is true. But for me, I want to read the book. If the artist drew this way, why? I want to know why. What were you thinking? What were your ideas? What was happening when you thought that this card, whichever it is, I don't even know what that is because I don't read this deck. But here's the Ace of Cups. Okay, this is the Ace of Cups. So Ace of Cups. What was going on in your mind when you did that? I want to know. And what does the key represent, or what does the butterfly represent, or to you, what to the person that drew the deck? Because as we know, there's hundreds of decks out there, hundreds of decks, and each deck is different. So um the original Rider Waite is very simplistic. It's not aesthetically pretty, right? But let's say you have that deck, and then let's say you have a deck that's dragons, but it is dragons, but it is um, rider weight structured. So then the Fool, or let's take something else. The Five of Wands in the dragons has that same underlying root and structure as the Five of Wands in the Rider Waite. Or does it? Because the person that drew that deck, what do they have to say about the Five of Wands? You know what? It's going to be different. And why did they choose dragons? I've seen decks medieval, I've seen witches, I've seen vampires, I've seen plants, I've seen animals, I've seen cartoons, I've seen you name it, it's out there. So those artists, they have a reason for, they had a vision for drawing the deck that way. And then, excuse me, they also have uh, an idea in the book what it means. So what, that's their interpretation. The book is their interpretation of that card. And so I don't know, did they write the book first? Did they draw the card first? Or maybe it was a together thing. But what I'm saying is, I want to know, personally, I want to know why this artist drew that way for whatever this is, King of Swords. I'm not sure which card that is, but let's just say, right? I want to know why. And because maybe that's going to open some doors for me. Maybe there's something that I didn't see. Maybe there's some energy I didn't feel. And by them explaining to me their ideas about it might help me, might open some doors. Maybe not, and that's fine. Then I just read it the way I feel about it. But it's nice to have to have the person that designed it, their input. So I took that course and me, and I put them in the cauldron and I stirred it all up and I said, I'm writing a different way of looking at tarot. So I am not a psychic. I am not a medium. I'm sure I have psychic abilities. I am intuitive. I read the cards, but it's more than that. So I wrote this course, and that is coming up next year. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's an alternative way to look at the cards. I'm not going to give you too much information now. If you are interested and you are local, go to the Facebook page, my Facebook page, The Peddler and the Crow, and you're going to click on the events. If you don't want to scroll through pages and pages and pages and pages worth of, oh, new at the shop, this happened, blah, 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 just go to events. And anytime we have a class, an event, a workshop, anything like that, it's always going to be under events. So if you click on events and there's nothing there, that means there's nothing happening. But if something is happening or going to happen, it'll be on events. So always go to events. And under that, it will tell you everything that you need to know. It'll tell you the day, the time, how much it costs, if it doesn't cost, what you need to bring, if it's prepay, if it's not prepay. It'll tell you everything. So please check that out if you're interested. It's not going to be a year long, and it's not a weekend course. So that will all be on there when the time is right. But I just thought, wow, these synchronicities. All I did was come up here and sit down to take a break. I see the cards. It reminds me of the Elrond, and then I go, well, now is the time to make this announcement, because this isn't going to happen until next year. And I have been working on some manifestation magic to help get this activated and get it right. The class is done. I've tweaked it here and there. And I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be really fun and really different. And, you know, if you don't like it, then you'll know that that isn't your style. But you might get something out of it, and that might take you on a different path to your style. So it's all about how you see it and how, you know, how you read, because I just don't believe that there is one way to read. That would be such a boring path. Um, my personality is different, I'm sure, than you guys out there. Um, and we all have something to offer, and yet we don't like, or it doesn't resonate. Some of those offerings don't resonate with us. I don't eat red meat. That doesn't resonate with me. So don't offer me a steak. I would be pleased that you did, but I don't. Thank you. So that kind of thing. You know, it's you're going to do things your way. That's why there's way too many readers to even mention out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is, it's because we all have our own style and our own way, and one isn't any better than the other. It's just a style. It's a way of your interpretation, and people cannot take that away from you. So just remember that. And that will all be discussed in the class. So, all right. That was a short video. um, that's what happens when I miss a week. Okay. Have a blessed Samhain. And may you connect with your ancestors, those that have uh, crossed the veil, and the veil is going to be thin. Now is a great time to communicate with them and just enjoy it, have a celebration, or just light a candle. And yeah, because we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing, I don't think, without having that path paved for us. All right, my friends, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Stay safe, stay well, be kind, and see you next time. Bye, guys.